So when it comes to computing devices and laptops, Taiwanese brand Acer is among the top five brands in India. Be it laptops or for gaming, business laptops, or for your remote education, Acer's got you covered. And today we have Acer India's Chief Business Officer, Mr. Sudhir Goel, with us to talk what the company has to offer in 2021. Welcome, Mr. Goel, and thanks for taking out time and joining us on Tech Talks.
Thanks, Jitin. Thanks for having me in this show. Thank you.
So awesome. So let's get going. So I have a few questions which I've jotted down, and these are in no particular order. So I'll just kind of ask you questions, and you can respond accordingly.
Sure.
So so the first one, obviously, because we've come out of COVID, and the entire year and a half has been really tough for everyone, almost everyone, both personally and professionally. So how has Acer been able to handle this phase, and what is the biggest learning for Acer, from COVID-19 pandemic era?
The pandemic has been a difficult time. I mean, for all of us as a human being, they have been suffering. There have been issues. Uh, Acer has been very sensitive towards the employees, ensuring that we are able to take care of their needs as and when it was required. So our HR department kept a track of each and every person, including the right up to the info promoters, to ensure that if they need any help, their family member, something, and we did provide all the help.
Mhm.
So thank God, we were able to take care of the issues as and when they arose in a different part of the country. We also focus a lot on vaccination, and we are proud to say that we are 100% vaccinated. All our staff and their immediate family members are 100% vaccinated. So that's to ensure that they stay healthy. From the business perspective, it has been a difficult time. There has been on and off, let's say the closures, the lockdowns coming,
Mhm.
going. At the same time, as a corporate organization, we got to survive, we got to maintain our revenues. On a positive side, there has been upswing in the demand, and that has helped us to ensure that we continue to grow. I mean, as the market is growing, we continue to grow. Fortunately, our manufacturing operations are based out of Pondicherry, and during this entire 1.5 year, I mean, they are the ones who are sort of least impacted. So that was a positive sign for us. Uh,
Mhm.
since let's say last May of 2020, I mean, they have been operating, barring a few days when the lockdown was
Mhm.
announced. I mean, we could get the special permissions and we could manufacture and fulfill the requirement of the customer, be it consumer, be it commercial, because there
Mhm.
was an urgent need for most of the people. The organizations, the people were not prepared to work from home, whether it was enterprises, whether it was banks, and therefore there was a definite demand for increasing the supply, and wherever physically possible, we could deliver. We also ensured that that since many retail stores were not operating,
Mhm. Mhm.
we enhanced our capabilities of Acer owned e-store, and
Right.
there we offered almost all products, both laptops, all kind of laptops, and we could ship to the end consumers directly. So that was another initiative which kept us
Mhm.
going.
That's awesome. The pandemic has brought a lot of forced a lot of innovation as such. But then, yeah, that's I think that's the best way is to move forward. We can't look back.
Correct.
So during this particular time, Goel, I think gaming and media consumption has been, in demand, and people are using their laptops for their work as well as for media or gaming. So has how has Acer tackled this? Has there been any specific devices that we've launched? You're catering to these requirements, or do we plan to do so?
Yeah, so there are many changes which have taken place in the mindset
Mhm.
or the pattern or the usage pattern of the consumers. You
Mhm.
know, the gaming, if you say, and we have been a market leader in the gaming for many years in India.
Mhm.
The gaming earlier was, till the pandemic was mainly concentrated towards, let's say, very serious gamers. I mean, the number of
Exactly.
gamers were limited, and those who were doing it were doing it to very serious gamers. But the pandemic has brought a new dimension. The teenagers not able to move out of their homes. I mean, they have to spend more time, and therefore the e-sport actually gained a lot of momentum because that was one source of entertainment for them. And when you have such a large market expansion, it's not possible to cater it with one or two product categories
Exactly.
because you have different affordability quotient, you have different productivity quotient, you have different utility quotient. The guy who's not using is a serious gamer. Should he spend that kind of a money or that kind of a configuration? So we decided to launch many series to address the different price bands and different utility bands. So on the bottom of the pyramid, we had the Aspire 7 as our gaming product. On the top, on the Predator, which has been a success for us for many years, we continued operating that. We also introduced the Nitro series in the gaming, and hence we could cater to the entire gamut. So with the three sub brands, we could cater to a larger section of the gaming population of the country, and which it definitely has been growing. It has seen a good success because and we offered obviously the various configurations both on the Intel and AMD platform, depending on the utilization, the different kind of a GPU, different kind of a storage. So the customers had a choice of the options, and he could buy depending on his budget as well as depending on his kind of utilization. So that was one initiative which we took over last 1.5 years.
Awesome. So with new trends and segments, coming, as in a lot of brands are introducing new products. So what is the new trend that we can expect from Acer? I understand that we have already launched an air purifier. That's in the lifestyle segment. So what else can we expect and from Acer in 2021?
Sure. So, let's start with IT. Number one, in the IT product itself, we feel that having utilized the product for a longer time now, I mean, the number of hours which we spend on the PC now is much more than what we were doing earlier. Therefore, the people would be looking for, let's say, a better performance laptop. So we would be launching certain other flavors in our Swift series, which is thin, light, premium product. I mean, it weighs less than 1 kg. So we'll have many flavors in that particular product segment so as to ensure that the people who are looking for a replacement and who's looking for better performance, much more battery life, as well as let's say the thin and light, they could get that. We also, along with the Qualcomm, launched a SIM-based laptop so that for connecting anytime, anywhere. So even if you're on the move, you could connect it with by putting a SIM there, and you don't need to use additional devices, etc. So that's another area. So in the IT product category, besides the gaming, I mean these are the new changes or the new products which we have either introduced or we are introducing. At the same time, we want to expand our portfolio from a pure IT player to some of the lifestyle products. We did a soft launch of the air purifier last year and just trying to learn because it's for AIT companies, slightly a different category, different kind of a mindset, different GTM, different kind of a cost structures. And now, I mean, now having learned that, now this year we will start focusing on that and we'll have multiple products catering to the different sections, the room sizes, the kind of a purification which a customer will need. We'll have a series of products which will be launched in the air purifier. We are also looking at a device, which is because today, having an antibacterial stuff at the home has become a more of a requirement, both from the mindset perspective and especially after the pandemic, we have become very serious about the health and the hygiene sectors. So we are going to introduce a sanitizer, ozone sanitizer, which can be directly connected to a running tap. You don't need to, let's say, store it the water, put out and get it ozonized, and then put the stuff there. In a running water, which you can use for washing hands, you can use it for washing the fruit and vegetables, so that they may have a longer life, and you can use it for, let's say, cleaning the house, etc. And the pets. So there are many applications which are there. It's a antibacterial and it takes care of a lot of these issues. So we would be getting into this and we as so that will be launched I think the next couple of months, and then we will keep on expanding into that category because we feel that now having seen the pandemic, we are more sensitive about the needs of these kind of people.
Interesting, because being a core tech company, Acer is moving towards lifestyle segment, and lifestyle and smartphone makers are coming, catering into entering into technology or core technology by launching laptops and AIoT devices. So that's an interesting move, I would say.
So, I mean, see, it's also a question of the needs, our
Mhm.
behavior, our mindset about the need for such devices have gone up. And as a technological company, as a company that is focusing on the technology, we know
Mhm.
that we have the basic design centers, we have the basic manufacturing capabilities. Therefore, we definitely want to offer the product which meets the current requirement of the customer beyond that.
So will there be an increased focus towards AIoT stuff as well? Because smart home products are kind of in demand as of right now.
Yeah, so if you look at a purifier for us, is a smart home
Mhm.
device. You know,
Mhm.
you can control it by the app from the mobile
Ah.
phone. So you can, when you
Mhm.
are leaving home, you can switch
Mhm.
it on, and then so that by the time you reach home, I mean
Mhm.
the air in the living room or bedroom, wherever you have placed it, it will get purified. So obviously, as we move forward, I think we expect most of the devices would be the smart enabled because I mean that's a need of the hour. It's not that when you go home for
Mhm.
some time because it will take a few minutes to get the air completely purified. We don't
Mhm.
want to do that, so you can do it remotely from your smartphone. So yes, that's definitely a direction which you will see as the technology moves.
Great, great. So, interestingly, this particular year or year and a half also brought a thing called remote learning because our our teachers, our schools, even our kids were not really prepared for that. So we do have Acer does have Chromebooks there, but Chromebooks are not really a hot selling product, which ideally should have been. You know, so what do you think? What do you think? Is the reason behind it? Because students do not prefer Chromebooks; they would prefer for a regular laptop.
Okay, so as a market leader in education, and you'll surprise, we command more than 70% of the education segment in India, both in the private and the government segment.
Mhm.
And we have been offering a variety of products. You know, today, first of all, the online education is not going to go away. It's a blended education model, and most of us, when we talk about in the various forums along with HRD and the various education is, we know that this is going to live. I mean,
Yes.
education anytime, anywhere is going to stay. The schools will be utilizing the infrastructure to the optimal use by, let's say, doubling up by having alternate days or whatever way they want to operate. And therefore, having tasted the online education with a kind of a enrichment which has taken place in the content and the content delivery mechanism and the various, all even in terms of the conducting the exams, etc., it has evolved over a period of time, so it's going to stay. Uh, as per the national education policy, also, if you see, there is a lot of stress on the digital infrastructure in the school. Of course, that will be applicable
Mhm.
more to the government schools. With the 5 million schools in the country, I mean, you can be rest assured that, and obviously, getting the quality teachers in the remotest part of the town is extremely difficult. So,
Exactly.
digital education is a way by which you can impart the quality education to each and every person or each and every student. Now, what kind of a devices? It's all, there are combination of devices which are going to operate. It's not going to be a single solution. When you talk about smart classrooms, a panel-based devices, a projection-based devices where you can have a large format displays or a projector projecting onto the large screens to the smart board, etc. With the PC in place could be one solution which definitely will evolve. Uh, for an individual, of course, the choice remains with a Chromebook or a standard laptop, Windows-based laptop. Now, the problem, yes, I mean, Acer has been a market leader in the Chromebook. We are number one in some of the advanced countries like the US and Europe. We have a variety of solutions, and it's not that we are not selling. It's not being sold in India. It is, but I think the I mean the number of units which, let's say, number of schools or number of education institutions which are adopting is still far. And the reason for that is we are yet to get used to working on the cloud because since it doesn't have an online storage, we still feel comfortable of having our own storage. It's also linked to the kind of a connectivity which you have. Not everywhere you will have a fast connectivity of the net, and if you don't have that, you will not be able to utilize or you will not be able to access the content. So till the time there is a comfort factor, since till the time there is a confidence that yes, we will the education institutions or the homes have that kind of a connectivity, the Chrome will definitely, I mean, it will be a challenge for the Chrome. It is evolving. It is definitely going to be, for the future. And as and when we see that the schools, augment the infrastructure on the network and
Mhm.
connectivity, the adoption of the Chromebook will definitely be a good solution because that's going to be a device for an individual student. So in a classroom, in a typical classroom, the teacher is doing it on the large format display, and the individual student using the Chromebook for accessing the various content, etc., is the future. It's going to take some more time, but I'm sure that it will happen.
Awesome. So next question again is connected to this one only because I keep getting a lot of requirements wherein my friends and other people keep on asking for, my recommendation for a device for their kids. Now when I tell them Chromebook, there is a slight hesitation that they okay what do we do? But then they are pretty okay to go for a laptop tablet, either a laptop which is high end or a tablet. Acer was there in tablets. I remember my first tablet was an Acer tablet. So, but then of late that has died. The entire segment died, but it is seeing a revival now. So, do we see this coming back again? Will Acer get the tablets once again?
Yeah. So post pandemic, we did realize that since the penetration of an IT equipment is very low in India,
Hmm.
and there is a affordability quotient which is there both in
Exactly.
the government spend as well as for the individual. There was definitely a need for tablets, so we did revive our tablet product portfolio in the year 2020. I mean, towards the second half. We started offering this as a solution to the various educational channel as well as on the online.
Hmm.
We also, I mean, to promote, we also participated along with the government of India for the Make in India, and
Hmm.
therefore we started getting it manufactured as per the value addition norm for the government of India. Today
Hmm.
we have both on the 8-inch and 10-inch Android category the products which are available. They are doing decently well. I mean, considering that the educational institutions are not physically open as of now, therefore the
Hmm.
decision making is still slow. But we do expect that as and when the educational institutions start opening, physical opening, there would be a need, there would be a demand for these kind of a devices. It's definitely going to go up. As a consumers, it is still growing market both for 8-inch and 10-inch, and we are well placed there both on the retail as well as the channel. And for the institutional buying, we do offer our products which are doing decently well. We have got certain sort of large orders, and of course, as I said, that having the make in India definitely gives us an edge, which is what we are offering to the to our partners and to the customers. And obviously, as and when the technology moves, we will obviously be moving into the configurations and the various solutions. The number of products which are today available, I mean, the number would definitely keep on going. But I think we are what we perceive. As I keep on saying in the various forums, in the next couple of years, you would see millions of tablets being sold in the country.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. We have a lot of a lot of brands eager to launch tablets. In fact, the brands who have never been into this particular segment are introducing it as well. So that's something which is a good signal sign for the industry.
Yeah, for India, I see it does meet the requirement, especially if you go in for a form factor of a 10-inch. The screen size is big enough. I mean, much more than a smartphone, 6.5 inch to 7-inch. So, and the content which is available on the Android are plenty, both from the government portals as well as the private portals. And therefore, for the affordable solution, this is definitely a solution. While definitely, I mean, as the IT player, we still feel that a 14-inch screen size is much more important. But wherever there is affordability quotient, yes, and there would be when you have more demand, of course, we'll see a lot of players. The advantage with us is that since we have solutions and these solutions are made in India, both in terms of turnaround time and the solutions being offered, Acer is in a strong wicket there.
Great, great. So you touched base on a specific point, which was collaborating with Qualcomm for a chip-based laptop for connectivity on the go. So now you see Apple has kind of changed the entire game altogether with its own chipset ARM based. So how do you see that particular segment, the industry evolving, and how is Acer's long-term plan on that part?
Number one, there would be a different kind of a solution which will be offered by the various brands. So Apple having its own chipsets, definitely they have a captive market. They have a set of customers who prefer Apple for the solutions, whatever they're offering. but still there's a mass market which is there. Right now, the focus is when and how we will move towards a connected PC category. I mean that whatever solution, and we know that the Qualcomm has been a market leader in the smartphone category. They have well-known brand in that segment. So obviously, we tied up with the Qualcomm to offer a connected laptop, which has got a SIM card, and so we are utilizing those features. And as I said, that as the connectivity infrastructure improves, definitely the demand for such PCs is expected to go up. I mean, that's why we introduce the product. We are doing, marketing that. We are talking to the various sort of customers, and we do hope that those solutions will pick up as the time progresses.
So, how do you see this particular thing wherein, a traditional IT company like Acer or for that matter, ASUS or HP and new age tech companies like Xiaomi, Realme coming in the market with their laptops? Do you see this as a temporary thing, seeing it, looking at the demand, or do they have a long-term goal behind this?
Well, whenever any organization, I will not like to comment on them, but any organization which is actually launching, they would have their own plans. Uh, but as the industry veteran for many years, for the 3 decades, I can only say that look, there is something called as in this industry, the product refresh is very fast. The technology is being driven either by Intel or AMD or Microsoft or Qualcomm now. So that you need to refresh. And when you need to refresh for a design to get its due, let's say ROI, you need a large volume. It's a volume. If you don't have a large volume as an overall product category, then you are bound to, let's say, either it's not a long-term sustainable business for that. Now, well, if the market size is growing, definitely there will be more room for the new organizations to come up, like you mentioned about tablet from the zero if it's going to 1 million and all. We still feel that this phenomena of the market demand talking about India, it is in a different frame. Different phase because our penetration is still very low. But globally, this demand is actually going to, it's not going to continue growing up for many, many years, maybe a couple of years yet. And therefore, it will start shrinking because IT category as a whole globally was shrinking. Marginally also
Exactly.
because so it's going to go back to that normal again. Now, at that point of time, whether we can have 6 or 7 or 8 brands in the market, well, it's very difficult to stay, and therefore, for the economies of scale and for the various technical operations, I still feel that the top 5, 6 brands definitely have a better probability of survival in the long run.
Definitely. Also, you mentioned about demand, increased demand. So last year and a half has seen incredible demand for laptops, tablets, and smartphones, which has caused another problem, which is the chip shortage. Because again,
Absolutely.
that is connected. So how's Acer been able is Acer at all impacted with that, or how's Acer been able to tackle that?
Acer definitely is impacted and impacted badly. So it's like question of what is the reference point? Are we is the number or the volume or the revenue growing up? Yes, it is growing. It's growing exponentially well. So that means, and if we say that our volume of the laptop has grown by 75%, that means so many more units have been sold, right? So obviously
Exactly.
that's pretty high. Does it meet the demand? No, the demand. If you have more, the demand is definitely more than that, right? So we definitely have a lot of challenges. We are not able to fulfill a large portion of the demand from the consumer, from the enterprises, from the government. So that challenge remains. It's a global shortages. All organizations will face. We are also facing. In some segment, you will get, so some will work in, some will get more, let's say, supply situation streamlined in a particular customer segment or a particular product segment. Someone will get into other, but that's a reality, and therefore the lead times definitely have gone up. But demand continues to go high, especially in a country like India, where we do expect, and you have to understand from the Indian requirement, the government is still not open, right? The government
Exactly.
will start buying now. Most of the government spending has not started taking place. Even then, the demand has gone up both from the enterprise and consumers. Once the government opens, that demand will also come back. So we would see a huge surge in demand. Supply will remain under the constraint. It's a question of how do you optimize, where do you prioritize, etc., etc. And it's a fight. It's a fight which we'll have to do with all the vendors and the ODMs and technology service providers to get more and more allocation. But yes, it's part of business. It's a positive problem to be in. I mean, it's a problem, but yes, at least a happy problem to be in.
Definitely. So, but then, for consumers, last, because of this particular shortage, chip shortage, the prices have gone up. So consumers are slightly impacted. So how long do you think this phase will remain, or when do you think the chip shortage will ease slightly?
I mean, it's very difficult to predict. We had thought that it will be over by this time, but I think the global demand continued to go up. You have to also see that besides the global demand, there are two other challenges. One is that the world is still not out of pandemic, and we always think it's
Exactly.
only China, but there are many components which are manufactured outside China. I mean, to surprise, there's a small component just being manufactured for our design or the design which we were using out of Malaysia, and Malaysia went on lockdown. Suddenly, 1 month there is supply chain. On top of that, the logistics have gone for a bad because the containers which are going towards the US and Europe are taking much more longer time because there's a quarantine. So the entire supply chain is in that kind of thing. Uh, Either it will, there is no immediate solution for that. I don't think for the next 6 to 9 months you will get an easing of that solution. And of course, whatever happens is that it definitely leads. There are two challenges which happens. Number one, of course, the component prices go up, and therefore the prices of the finished good laptop, etc., will go up. Number two, the manufacturers start focusing on a slightly mid-range and high range rather than focusing on the value segment. So both the challenges are there. I mean, it's for everyone. So let's see. Let's hope that in next 2 quarters we should start seeing some kind of a changes. It will start coming back to normalcy is what we assume. But it will essentially we have to wait and watch. We can only do a guesstimate, but I don't think there is a clear data to available to see how it will.
Definitely, there's nothing much as you said, nothing much we can do apart from waiting. So last but not the least, you mentioned it multiple times about the government collaborations that you have and Make in India. So, which is obviously is a major factor or major focus in last not just in last year and a half, but more, beyond that as well. So, how is Acer handling that, and how Acer is aligned to the government initiatives?
The Acer's global vision has been, and this has been one of our tagline a few years back, the global brand, local touch. And we firmly believe, Acer as a company firmly believe that we got to make sure we are able to promote the whatever way we can the local initiative. That's the reason when we started in 2000, I mean 99, we started our manufacturing in 2000 itself in out of Pondicherry. We have stayed invested for 22 years. But at the same time, from the business reasons perspective, we realize that the faster supply chain can only be achieved if we promote the manufacturing. So even before the government announced the production linked incentive, Acer has been manufacturing the desktop and all-in-ones in the country, and it's not the assembly. We do right up to the motherboard and everything, all many components to it. We have been adding step by step, as the process is
Obviously,
being
yeah.
right. And therefore, we had been a leader in this kind of initiative and co-work with the government, the METI, especially, who have been more than positive with the feedback and then try to do that. And uh, keeping the new policies in mind, which the government has announced the production linked incentives in the area of tablets, where I told you we are already present, so obviously we enjoy the benefits in that respect. Laptops, the all-in-ones we are already present, we are already doing it, and the laptop we have started the process. So we are quite confident that within next 2 to 3 quarters, we will have the Make in India as per the value addition norm defined by the government, the laptops made available. Not all models, you can't do it. You let us start from
Obviously,
there
yes.
and then keep on adding more and more and more and more models. But we are in a serious condition. I mean, and we do hope that during the year 2021 itself, we'll have 1 or 2 models launched in India, which is done. Thank you.
That's really great. That's awesome. So thanks a lot, Mr. Goel, for taking your time and sharing precious insights with us. And we really hope Acer does really great in the coming.
Yeah. Thanks, Jiten. And
Thank,
I hope you got answers and thank you for having me on the show. Thanks.
sure. Thanks. Thanks a lot.